Basically, I just think we've got the whole vaccination program the wrong way round. We've prioritised Edith and Mary in their 80s and 90s, who have had their education, they've had their career, they've had their life. Meanwhile, I've got children whose mental health is suffering, their education is suffering, the economy is suffering, and we are prioritising the wrong people. The future of the country has been completely neglected in favour of Edith and Mary, and I'm not saying Edith and Mary shouldn't be vaccinated, because of course they should be, but priority-wise, if the economy is sinking, we need to get things moving.
I hear you. I hadn't thought of this. I do need to just quickly put in the big response to that, which is that the vaccination priority is dependent upon who's most likely to die if they catch it.
Of course, and I understand it's about saving the NHS, but that's after 10 years of austerity.
No, but that's not a response to, because I think I like your point, and I hadn't thought of it that way around, but I think you're underestimating the zinger nature of my return, which is the vaccines are being doled out according to who is most likely to die if they catch the coronavirus.
But James, Edith and Mary sit at home most of the time anyway because they're retired. The cherry on the cake in my argument, I believe, is that Edith and Mary won't be around to pay for the bill. So they get the first-class treatment, but yet they're not.
But they've already paid for the bill with a lifetime of taxation, you see.
Okay, so they have done, but when it comes to now recovering from this mess, we need to get people, key workers, teachers, children back in school so we can start generating income to start paying for these bills. But paying for Edith and Mary in their 80s and 90s, who aren't going to be around to pay for the bill, I understand that they've contributed throughout their whole life, as you have and as I have, but our children have been completely neglected. And I think that's shameful because going back to Lord...
You do make a powerful point, actually, which hadn't previously occurred to me. I don't think you're going to convert me or persuade me. And I think that it's not just the risk of death or the risk of serious illness. If these people catch it, the more vulnerable people catch it, then that, of course, overwhelms the NHS. And your point about austerity is not a counter to that observation. It's an addendum to that observation. I'm just trying to think if we were to vaccinate almost from the other end of the telescope or almost start with younger people.
Round.
Well, then no, because... Yeah, do you know what? It's a much better point than I thought it was at first glance.
If I look at my 70-year-old mother as an example, she's retired, she's had her life, had her education, had her career. She now sits at home playing in the garden and she paints.
Yes.
Okay? So what's more important? My children, who I can see are declining after 10 months of homeschooling, it's almost as if we've come to accept that this is normal and okay. This is shameful.
But it depends what the finish line looks like, doesn't it? And if the finish line is having a vaccinated population or having herd immunity in place, which you can achieve with vaccination, you can't achieve it by letting it rip through the population. So if the finish line is having a vaccinated population with as few deaths as possible before then,
correct,
then you haven't got a leg to stand on.
But why? Because these people sit at home anyway. My mother goes to Aldi
your mother
3
might.
times a week
Yes, but Aldi, your mother might. But, you know, the country is full of people of a certain age who do want to be out and about.
So, James, do you honestly believe then that 80-year-old Edith...
Why have you got such a problem with people called Edith?
Child?
Well, I don't know if it's a question of importance, but I would want my mum, who is 80, to be vaccinated before, and I happen to have a 12-year-old child. I just would, obviously.
Well, I wouldn't.
Okay. Well,
I wouldn't. And the only reason I say I wouldn't...
I hope your mum's not listening, James.
What? No, my mum doesn't like this debate whatsoever, so I can't have it with her, but I thought I could probably have it with you.
You can, and you've got some great points. I disagree with you, and we've come down to the fundamental point of disagreement.
I'm not saying I'm right
nor am I.
Wrong.
No, nor am I.
There should be a debate about who gets
there
vaccinated.
is. We're having it. But the point where it ends is the point where the division gets filed under agree to disagree, is where you say, I'd rather my kid had it than my mum, and I say, well, I'd rather my mum had it than my kid.
Why would you rather your mum had it than your kid first?
Because then I can go and see her.
But you can't see her because your kid hasn't been vaccinated.
But I can. When she's been vaccinated, we'll be more likely to be able to see her. When she's safe from...
That goes against the argument you've been saying this morning.
No, it doesn't.
Can't all be going
when she's safe,
vaccinated until we've all been vaccinated.
No one's saying that. When she is safe from catching it, I will feel... I've had it, so I've got antibodies. So
but we don't know how long for.
No, mate, you asked me a question. I'm telling you the answer.
Well, I'm on your side, by the way. I love you.
Well, I love you too, but it's still the case that you and I have a different attitude. I love my mum more than you love yours. There it is. I said it.
No, it's not a case of loving them more. It's just
no. You should have come back and said, "Well, I love my child more than you love yours.
If UK PLC, if the UK was a PLC and run as a company, who would be vaccinating first, the workforce or the people that sit at home?
Yeah, but it's not a PLC, is it? So it doesn't rely upon the workforce, and we owe a debt of gratitude to older people that is often overlooked at the best of times, and the least we can do in the worst of times is prioritise their longevity.